Okay, good morning. So there's a lot going on. We still have some really bad fires. There's a fire called the Glass Fire up in wine country, Napa and Sonoma, and we're getting smoke from that fire. So again, my heart goes out to all those people in the wine country and the firefighters. And there's, I think, at least a couple of wineries have been damaged. There's a lot going on in the news, right? And I guess the biggest news item is that Trump and some of the 2 or 3 of the senators, I think, have got caught with the virus. It's sort of a little bit ironic. I don't know if you guys saw the debate, but Trump was making a bit of fun of Biden because Biden's always wearing a mask, and it's a bit ironic that days after that Trump gets the virus. But anyway, let's hope anyone that can pull through it. So today I was thinking of a couple of poses. Crow, which we do before, but crow is a hand balance, as you know. It's a good prep for another pose called Tittibhasana, also known as Firefly pose, or some people call it insect pose. So Tittibhasana is another hand balance pose, and it's quite a difficult pose. A lot of I think there's more pressure on the wrists than in crow. So if you have any wrist issues, be careful or avoid it. But we can all do the prep. Actually, what crow is one of the poses to do before Firefly. Malasana is another pose, which is the squat. Bakasana, hip opener, and Garudasana, eagle pose. So we're going to do all those leading up to Tittibhasana. But first, let's just get ourselves ready. And what I've noticed it's interesting. When I'm getting the recording ready, it's interesting to observe myself in the recording, and I realise that a lot of times when I'm just sitting, I'm not aware, and I just tend to slouch. So usually at the beginning of the class, I'm a little bit sort of slouchy like this. So I have to start bringing my hips slightly forward and broadening across the upper chest, the collarbone, just to get that nice that better posture. If you put your hand behind your back, so I'm just placing the back of my hand on my lower back. And we want to try and get a natural curve there. Now, if you emphasize it too much, if you start bringing the hips forward as much as you can, you're going to feel those muscles engaging. And if you start to take the hips back, you're starting to round the back. So what you want to do, you want to bring the hips forward, find those muscles engaging, and then just slightly try and bring the hips slightly back, so that you want to try and relax those muscles. So we've got the natural curve of the lower back, but we're not emphasizing it. So we're not, the more you can relax the muscles, the better it is. So basically you just want to use the muscles that you need to hold that posture. You don't want to overdo it. So we're trying to get that neutral back. We're broadening here, so a lot of people sort of the back is rounded, so we're trying to broaden across the collarbone. Chin parallel to the ground, head back a little, hands resting on the legs, and we're going to just focus on the breath. Starting to take longer, deeper breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Try and make the exhale just as long as the inhale. Long, slow, deep breaths. Each inhale, trying to pull in a little bit more air. Maybe a pause at the top of the inhale. Exhale, making the exhale just as long as the inhale. And I'm going to work on the shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to keep my hands on the legs. I'm just resting the palm of the hands on the knees this time. And I'm just going to rotate one shoulder, bringing the shoulder forward, up, back and down. I'll do that a few times. And then I'm working on the other shoulder, bringing that forward, up, back and down. And then we just bring both shoulders up and down. Just basically do whatever feels good. Just try and loosen up there. We hold a lot of tension in the shoulders. We're just trying to release it a little bit. And then we're going to bring the right arm, extend the right arm forward. The arm is parallel to the ground, shoulder back. And we're going to start pulling that arm in closer. Finding an easy stretch. Inhale, getting taller. Exhale, pulling the arm even closer. And take about 4 or 5 breaths here. Pulling the arm in closer with the exhale. Now don't forget, we're all different. Some of us, this might be quite a stretch. Others maybe, you don't feel a lot. So we're all a little bit different here. And the other side, the arm extended forward, shoulder back. We pull that arm in, you're pulling above the elbow, easy stretch. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, pulling the arm in. So I feel it, the stretch I feel is upper arm, across the deltoid, across the upper back. Good stretch. And we release. We're going to take the hands behind us. So there's a couple of inches behind us. The fingers are pointing forward. And then the elbows are slightly bent. And then we're going to try and open the chest as much as we can. So we're taking a little bit of a backward bend. And the head is going to go back carefully. And we breathe. Trying to open the whole front body. And then we keep the head back, and we're going to start hinging forward, interlacing the fingers, pulling the shoulders down away from the ears, pulling the shoulder blades together. You're going to hinge forward as much as you can, looking forward. And then once you've gone as far as you can, you start tucking the chin, bringing the forehead to the ground. And you bring the arms up towards the ceiling. We come back up. We take the left hand over to the left side. Inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling. Reach towards the ceiling. Exhale as you take the side stretch, looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale, we come out. Exhale over to the other side. And we reach up first, and then we take that side stretch, and we take about three breaths or so here. Inhale, coming back, work on the shoulders a little bit more, and then we're going to bring the arms either side, extend the arms to the side, parallel to the ground. Keeping those hands nicely lined up with the arms. We're going to bring eagle arms. We're going to bring the right arm under the left arm, getting the back of the hands or the palms parallel, centering the arms. Then you can either touch the nose with the thumb or the fingers, or you can bring the arms up. And we do with this we feel that stretch across the upper back between the shoulder blades. We release, extend the arms to the side again, and then bring the left arm under the right arm, getting the hands parallel, back of the hands or the palms. Get tall, Maybe touch the nose, maybe lift the arms up. Or halfway between, whatever feels good. You're just trying to stretch out that back. And we release. Now we're going to take a gentle twist. We'll place the right hand outside the left leg, trying to keep that right shoulder pretty relaxed as we take that twist. Easy twist. Once the body is warmed up a little bit more, we can go into deeper twists. And then other side. Okay, another side stretch is gate pose, where we're high up on the knees and we take the leg over to one side and the leg is straight, toes, kneecap up towards the ceiling. Right hand slides down that leg, you bring the other arm up, you're reaching up and you're taking that side stretch. And I find it more of a stretch here than when I'm doing something similar sitting down. So I feel it down the side ribs, down the hip. And we come up and we switch legs. Toes, kneecap up towards the ceiling. Inhale the other arm up, reaching up as much as you can, and then you take that side stretch. Inhale, coming back up. Let's go into, we're going to do a little bit of dynamic movements. So we're going to go into a low lunge. So if you need to, if there's too much pressure on that back knee, you can put a cushion underneath. Another thing you could do is you could just fold the mat, get a little bit of extra cushion in there, which is what I'm going to do. So we're stretching out the quads here, the front of that back leg. And we're just going to try and move forward and then back. And move forward and back. Just doing a little bit of that dynamic stretching. And then we're going to take the leg over to the side. So the right knee is bent. The toes pointing towards the side, and this time again we're going to move, this time from side to side, stretching out the adductors. And then we're going to take that leg, this time it's straight, where the foot is facing forward, and we're going to bring the forearms onto the ground, and we're just going to come forward and back, do that a few times. Just warming the hips, stretching the legs out. And then we're going to switch sides. And again, you can hold the mat up, bit of cushioning, or you could be on a cushion. It's there's a little bit of weight on the knee. Okay, low lunge other side, and we're just going to come forward and back, and don't forget to use the breath. And just stretching out front of that back hip and the quads. And then we're going to work on the adductors, so take that foot over to the side, so the foot is pointing to the side, and we're just going to go from side and back to center. And then we extend the leg. Foot is facing forward, onto the forearms. We come forward and back. Do that a few times. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. I'm just going to move this slightly forward. So come onto your hands and knees, cat-cow a few times. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale as you round the back and touch the chin. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Inhaling cow, exhaling cat. You're trying to get that wave-like motion. The movement is starting from the base of the spine, working its way through into the neck. Whether you go into cat or cow, I usually like to start from the lower back, working my way up. We're going to stay neutral, and we're just going to drop between the shoulder blades, and then come back up. So we're just going to drop, and then back up. Drop, and up. Just trying to loosen the shoulders up a little bit more. Dolphin. Actually, let's do a forearm plank first. So we need, for the Firefly and Crow, we need core strength. So this is going to help build up the core strength a little bit. You're on your forearms, elbows under the shoulders. I'm going to make fists with my hands, toes tucked, and we bring those hips up. Not too high, but not too low. And look up. Pull the shoulders, the airplane shoulder blades towards the ceiling, and then start tucking the chin so you're looking directly at the ground. Bring the feet a little bit closer, and then bring the right leg up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We switch, other leg comes up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We come all the way down, and we're going to relax for a breath or two. We come back into Sphinx, elbows under the shoulders. We're going to walk the knees underneath the hips. Palms together, or palms flat on the ground. Dolphin, hips up and back. You want to keep the head off the ground. You're looking between the legs. So you're pushing into the ground. And also you're trying to push the ground away from you. You're trying to get that upside down V shape. Opening those shoulders. A lot of shoulder opening today. Breathe. Come onto your hands and knees. Down facing dog. Tuck the toes. Hips back. Again, we're getting that upside down V shape. You're pushing the hands, the thumb in particular, and the index finger into the mat. You're pulling the armpits down. Again, we're looking between the legs or even towards the belly button. We're getting more length with each breath. The back is neutral. If you can keep the back neutral, then you can start straightening the legs, bringing the heels down. Get the back neutral first, bend the knees if you need to. You're breathing. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale into mountain. Few half salutes. Inhale, reach up, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale as we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. But don't forget to bend the knees if you need to, especially if you feel any discomfort in the lower back. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale as we fold forward again, head relaxed. Inhale, breath core brings us up. Exhale, mountain. So as I go down, especially as I come up, and also as I go down, I'm really trying to engage that core just to protect that lower back and to strengthen that area. One more. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Engage that core as you come back up. And then mountain. Let's go into chair. We'll do a bit of a chair twist, I think, to begin with. So we're in chair, knees are bent. We extend the arms forward, or you can get the arms either side of the ears. And we're going to take a twist over to the left. So I'm bringing my right arm, I'm trying to get it outside the left leg. I try and get it pretty low if I can. And then I bring the palms together. And I'm pushing that arm into the leg. And we're going into a little bit deeper twist than we did at the beginning. You're breathing. Okay, let's try this. So from the chair twist, we're going into the lunge twist, crescent twist. We're going to take the right leg back. A little bit of a tricky transition. And if you want, you can bring that back knee down like this. But if you can keep the knee up, that would be good. And we're breathing. We bring the hands either side of the front foot. We come into plank. Knees down, chin, chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We look forward between the hands. We walk forward. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. We meet the knees stay bent. We're back in chair. And then we do the other side. So I'm bringing that left arm outside the right leg. So I'm actually pushing that right hand into the leg so I can get that left arm a little bit deeper into the twist. And then take the left leg back. Crescent twist. Opening up. Breathe. Knee down if you want. And then we come into plank. This time let's hold plank. So if you look at the feet, you want to try and get the heels over the toes. You keeping the shoulders over the wrists. You're not sinking between the shoulder blades. Back is neutral. We bring the right hand to center. We stack the feet. And we bring our left arm up. So in a nice plank pose, don't drop the head. If you want, top foot is down in front of you, or the bottom knee can be down. It makes it a little bit easier. If it bothers the wrist, you can be on the forearm. If you want more challenge, top leg comes up. And then we repeat on the other side. Left hand to center, feet stacked, right arm up. You can have the top foot down or bottom knee down, or the top leg up. Don't forget to breathe. You come back into plank. Chaturanga, you bring the whole body forward. Elbows 90. Inhaling into up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take down dog a breath or two. If you want child's pose, go for child's pose. In fact, let's all do child's pose. Bring the knees down to the ground. My big toes are touching, knees apart, and I'm just going to rest the head on my hands. And this is just going to gently stretch the back out. So don't get too comfy. So what we're going to do next is just come back on our hands and knees. We'll do a downward facing dog. Let's go straight into warrior one. So look forward, bring that right foot between the hands, back foot 45, and we sweep those arms up, coming into warrior one. looking up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to transition into Warrior 2. So Warrior 2, I tend to start taking my feet a little bit wider. Now if you want to go deeper, what happens is some people, they don't walk that front foot out, they go deeper and this knee comes too far forward. You always want to make sure that that knee is over that front ankle. And then you're looking over that right hand. But what we're going to do, we're going to add eagle arms here, so I want you to look in my direction and bring that left arm the arms over the straight leg under the right arm, adding the arm stretch, eagle arms in this way. Extend the arms again, and we're just going to swivel on the feet rather than doing the flow. We'll just swivel on the heels this time. But we're in Warrior 1 again, looking up. And then Warrior 2, maybe walk the feet a bit wider apart, readjusting the back foot. So the feet actually make, for me, they make a 90-degree angle. Shoulders are soft, so you've got energy through the arms, but the shoulders are relaxed. Some people, I can see it sometimes in a class, people hunch up the shoulders. They only have to go close to them, they realise they've got to relax those shoulders. Right arm under left arm, looking to the side. Or looking to the screen, looking in my direction, eagle arms. We release. We keep the feet nice and wide. In fact, let's take them a little bit wider. We're going to hinge at the hips, looking forward. Then you're going to feel a stretch at the back of the legs. And we're going to bring our fingertips down onto the ground underneath the shoulders, or the palms down. You can have a block there if you want. And we're just going to go from side to side, trying to keep the feet solidly on the ground. Inhale up, exhale over. We're going to hold one leg straight, one knee bent. Keep that leg, straight leg activated. Keep pushing the outer edge of the foot into that mat. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. And then we're going to walk the feet together, heel toe, heel toe. And we slowly roll up. So we're going to do a bit of a hip opener. If you'd rather do reclined pigeon, you can do this pose if you want. So this is an option. Head is down, you're pulling the legs in, and this foot is flexed. So you're welcome to do it on your back. If you want to have a go at the standing version, if you have a block, you can have a block in front of you. You don't need the block, but sometimes it's useful. And we're going to do standing pigeon. If you'd rather do the reclined pigeon, go for it. So here, both knees are bent. We're going to bring the right foot, the outer of the right foot onto the left leg. And to start off, I'm just resting my hands on that top leg. This foot is flexed a lot. We're just stretching out that hip. Now, the more you bend the knee, the more you're going to feel that stretch. I'm trying to keep my back neutral. I'm trying not to round the back. So the lower you go, the more you feel it. Now the block is there in case you want to go lower, and it just helps you to keep the balance. So if you have a block, you can hold onto the block. You can lower the block. You can even bring the fingers down to the ground. This is quite a stretch. As I say, if you prefer to be reclined, you can do that instead. And then we're going to gently come out, and we're going to switch sides. If you're on the ground, you can just switch. If you're doing the standing version, we bring the outer of the left foot onto the right leg. Right knee is bent. You're resting the hands on that leg. And as you go deeper, as you bend the knee more, if the block is there, you can bring your hands onto the block. You could use a little table or stool or chair, or you can just hang out here. It's up to you. You know your bodies by now, I would think, so feel the stretch but don't let it hurt. Go lower if it feels good. It's a good stretch, I like this one. And then we could do flying pigeon, or we could add a twist to that, which I've probably shown you before. Okay, it's enough of that one. Come back to the front of the mat. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We're back in plank. Chaturanga. Inhale into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We bring the knees down, and we're just going to sit on the heels. So we're going to do Bakasana, a little bit more hip opener, and then we'll work our way. So we've done lots of hips, lots of shoulders. We'll do both hips and shoulders together. After Bakasana, we'll do Garudasana. So Bakasana, sit on a block if you need to, if you have tight hips. Making this diamond shape, we're holding onto the feet. I like to rock from side to side, as you know, as I get my heels a little bit closer in. A lot of arm strength. I'm trying to get the back neutral, trying to get tall length in the back, and then I'm starting to bring those legs down. I think what we'll do next is we'll work on the hamstrings a little bit. In Tittibhasana, you're trying to extend the legs as you're resting the legs on the arms, and you're trying to extend the legs. So there's a lot of hamstring stretch. So we'll stretch out, do another hamstring stretch before we do Tittibhasana. And release. So come back into the lunge. And then we're just going to walk that. So I've got my left foot forward, my right leg is extended back, and I'm just going to walk that left foot forward an inch or two, and I'm going to start straightening that leg. You might not be able to get it totally straight, which is fine. All I want you to feel is a stretch at the back of the leg. Again, if this is too much, you could be on your back, and you could have this left leg up towards the ceiling, and you're just pulling the leg in towards you. That's a nice way to stretch out the hamstring, because your back is supported. So this version you have to be a bit more aware of the back. Make sure you're not rounding too much. If you're super flexible, you can start folding all the way forward, and if you've got contact between the belly and the leg, you can go all the way forward. If there's a big gap here, my advice is to stay raised so that you're not putting pressure on the back. And we're just going to switch. Oh, the other pose, prep pose, was Bakasana, right? So that's the squat. We'll do that next, then we'll do Garudasana. So as I'm extending that leg, stretching out the hamstring, my toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, kneecap is towards the ceiling. If you can get the leg straight, you then start to try and activate the quads, engage the quad muscles. And then let's come into Bakasana. So Bakasana is a wide squat. My feet are pointing out slightly, and I'm getting the arms between the legs. I'm pushing the arms into the legs. This is actually a setup for crow. Actually, we might as well, since we're here, we might as well just try crow, right? Crow, Garudasana, Tittibhasana. If you don't want to do crow, you're going to hang out in the squats. Or whatever. As I say, a lot of pressure on the wrists in these hand balances. We haven't stretched the wrists out much, let's do that a little bit. So just interlace the fingers and just go back and forth with the hands, stretching the wrists out. Now if you remember in crow, let me do the side view. We start off in Malasana, we're pushing the arms into the legs, and so we've got good contact. And then I come onto my toes, I'm looking forward all the time. I'm trying to get my knees a little bit higher up the arms, and I'm looking forward. You're always looking forward, you always keep the length in the throat. You never jump up, and you just let the feet float up. So I'm bringing one foot off the ground, and then I just let the other foot float up. I try and bring the toes together, and I'm just trying to squeeze the arms with the knees, and I'm breathing. And then we slowly come down. What happens a lot is you've got to move those hips forward to get that weight forward. So you're finding that nice light spot, that center of gravity. If your hips are too far back, what happens is people start kicking up. Hips will be back, people try and kick up like this. And it just doesn't work, because you've got to get those hips forward. If you watch here, you've got to get those hips forward, which is why I'm rocking on the toes. Getting those hips forward, I'm looking forward all the time. Just try rocking on the big toes. And this is the point where I feel if I go any more, if I rock any more forward, I'm going to come all the way down to the ground. That's that spot where the feet start to float off the ground. That's that spot. You're trying to find that light spot. A lot of upper body strength needed, a lot of core strength, but it's going to build that. So once you get into it, hold it as long as you can. It's going to build that strength. Bring the back of the hands together. Okay, Garudasana. We come back into a standing position. We extend the arms either side. We bring the right arm under the left arm. We come into chair. Shoulder. We've done lots of shoulder openers. We've done lots of hip openers today. So this should be, the arms like this should be easy. We then bring the right leg onto that left leg, and you've got to squeeze those legs together if you want to try and hook that foot behind the standing leg. Then make sure you center the arms, lean back slightly. You can go a little bit lower, you're bending that standing knee, and you're breathing. A lot going on this one. Shoulder opener, hip opener, challenge to keep the balance, you're breathing, and you shake everything out. A little bit more challenging this week. We had 2 easy weeks, I think, so we're going a little bit more challenging. Maybe next week we'll take it easy again. Other side, left arm under right arm. Knees are bent, you bring the left leg on top. You try and squeeze those legs together, and then you try and hook the foot. Sometimes I can hook it one side and not the other side. A little bit of challenge today. Lean back, center the arms. You can either touch the nose or you can bring the arms up. Don't forget to breathe. And we release. And we shake everything out. Okay. So Tittibhasana is, if you've never done it, you should watch. I start off in the squats, but this time, instead of my hands down into crow, I'm bringing the hands either side. I'm taking them between the legs, bringing them either side of the feet. Elbows are bent, and I'm just letting the hips sink as I start to walk the legs forward There's a lot of weight on the wrist, so if you've got any wrist issues, you know, you be careful. If it starts to bother the wrist, please come out of the pose. So I'm really letting my hips sink. I'm looking up, and then I try and straighten the legs into Firefly pose. I'm trying to straighten the legs. That's as much as I can. And if you can't straighten the legs, what you could do maybe is you could cross the feet like this, and you can bring the legs up like that. But if you do that, this version, it's not Firefly, but it's sort of a variation. I have to keep my chin tucked. It's a challenge. And what happens, if it hasn't already happened to you, sometimes you lose your balance and you land on the sit bones. And that happens a lot when you try this pose out. A lot of weight on the wrists. Bring the back of the hands together. We'll try it one more time. As I say, if you don't want to do it, you could be doing crow, you could just be doing the squat, you could be doing Bakasana. So a little bit of free time if you like. Okay, shake the hands out. One more time if you want to try it. I take my feet fairly wide apart. My feet are pointing out, and then I come higher. I'm bringing my arms. I actually go onto my toes. I bring one arm underneath, in between the legs. And then my elbows are bent. And then I just try and slide the legs forward. And I'm just letting those hips go really heavy. Really heavy. I'm putting a lot of weight onto my upper arms here. And I let the legs rise up. And, you know, looks like an insect, right? And I'm trying to extend those legs. I'm trying to extend those legs. I can't get them totally straight. And then a little bit of challenge coming out. A lot of weight on the wrists. I can feel it on the wrists. And you bring the back of the hands together. Okay. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Back of the hands together, and we're just going to rotate in one direction. And we rotate in the other direction. But if you can do crow, and if you've got open hips, you've got you can lengthen those hamstrings. You can probably get into Tittibhasana, I reckon. It's just a matter of practice. Okay, stay on your heels, and just close the eyes. Just take a breath or two. Let's just slow down a little bit here. Open the eyes. Bring the hands behind you. We did this early on. Tuck the chin, open the chest. Head goes back slowly, but this time what we're going to do, we're going to bring those hips up. Head is back carefully. If you have any neck issues, keep the chin tucked. I like to keep my elbows slightly bent. I'm engaging the glutes. I'm trying to open the whole front body. Breathe. I'm trying to expand those ribs. And then we slowly come down. We slide the hands forward. And we come into downward facing dog. We're pushing the hands, the thumb, index finger, little finger into the mat. We're pulling the armpits down. Chin is tucked, you're looking towards the belly button. You're getting a little bit more length. Inhale. Exhale, a little bit more length. Inhale. Exhale, a little bit more length. We bring the knees down. We sit on the heels. If you have a block handy. Come onto your back. I'm going to flip so the sun isn't in my eyes. Bridge. Keeping the gaze towards the ceiling. Coming up on the inhale. Engaging those glutes. Try and keep the legs nice and parallel. Hips. Now the hips, typically knees, hips, shoulders are in one line. If your back is good, you can bring the hips up a little bit higher. If that starts to bother the lower back, you bring the hips down slightly. You're always gazing towards the ceiling, do not gaze from side to side. Interlace the fingers, walk the shoulders and the arms in closer and closer. Once you walk the shoulders in, you're pushing the arms, the hands into the ground. Get the feet a little bit closer to each other. Now try this. Bring the left leg up to the ceiling, if you can and if you want. Breathe. Switch legs. Bring the other leg up to the ceiling. Bring that leg down. Come up a little higher. And then come partly down. If you have a block, I would have the block half height. Slide it underneath. Resting on the block, sacrums on the block, arms either side of you. If you don't have a block, you come all the way down and you rest in Shavasana but with the knees bent. And we're just going to hang out here, a few breaths, totally relax. Being in this pose, being in bridge with the block, or on something underneath the lower back, it's still opening the upper chest, which is good. We're going to lift the hips up, we'll put the block to one side. Knees come in, and we just rock from side to side. You probably know that after bridge, after back bends, I usually do rocking, and then after that I'll do a twist. So let's do a recline twist. Let's extend the right leg on the ground. Left knee's pulled in really close. And let me take that left leg. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the hips slightly over to the left as I take that left knee over to the right side. And then I'm going to extend that left arm looking over the left shoulder. I'm pulling that left shoulder away from the head. Trying to keep the shoulders on the ground. We come out of the twist, we pull the knees in and we rock from side to side again. And then I'm going to extend the left leg on the ground and I'm shifting my hips over to the right an inch or two. Right knee comes in and over to the left side and I'm extending that right arm looking over the right shoulder. Palm is facing up. Right shoulder, I'm trying to pull away and in. I'm trying to keep that right shoulder on the ground. It's important for the shoulder to keep the shoulder on the ground. If you can't keep the shoulder on the ground, what you could do is just to bring that right hand onto the ribs to take the pressure off the shoulder. But if the shoulder's on the ground, you extend the arm, palm up. and then come out of the pose. And just rock, and then just roll yourself up. So the reason I always tell people to have the palm facing up. So imagine I'm on my back, palm is facing up. It lets you more easily pull the shoulder down, the shoulder blade in. If the palm is facing the ground, what happens is this shoulder starts to come forward, and it sort of, for me, it just feels a bit strange. But a lot of people, even when they're in Shavasana, they'll have the palms down, and that starts to bring the shoulder up, I think. If you've got the palms facing up, it lets you open up the chest a little bit more. So if you do this kind of thing, your shoulders are coming forward, and then as you start to rotate the arms and have the palms facing forward, it lets you open up. So take advantage of that. It's just the way, especially when you're on your back, it's just the way of where you position in the arms. It makes a difference, I think. Okay, so how are we doing? Let's we'll come on to our backs again. So we've done lots of hip stuff, so let's take advantage of that hip open, and we'll do happy baby. A little bit more hip opening before we come into Shavasana. So pull the knees in close. Then just rock again. So we're just massaging the lower back, the sacrum. And we're going to bring the hands on the knees, and we're just going to circle in one direction. And we circle in the other direction. Hold on to the feet. Happy baby. So we're trying to get the tailbone low. So when you're working, it's almost like you're trying to lift the lower back off the ground. A lot of arm strength. I'm really working to pull those legs down to the ground. And then we're going to see if we can straighten the legs. This would be really good to have done before Firefly, but never mind. So we're going to start straightening the legs, and we're pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Tailbone is nice and low. If you can get the legs straight into a V, you're pushing the heels out, you're breathing. Some of you probably might be bending the knees, that's fine, just do what you can. Now we're going to bend the knees, we're going to take hold of the back of the legs, and we're going to go into both Navasana. So we're going to rock backwards and forwards a few times. And just balance on the sit bones. We're trying to keep the back neutral. Any back concerns, you keep hold of the legs. If your back is good, you can bring the arms either side of the legs. If you want more challenge, you bring the legs up. You know the routine, guys. We're opening the chest, and we're going to hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We cross the legs. We bring the hands either side of the hips, and we're just going to lift ourselves up and down. If you can't do that, no worries. It's a challenge. Full body stretch. Arms over the head. We're trying to get as much length as we can. So I'm reaching with those arms. Maybe do what I call a little bit of a caterpillar action. I'm sticking the heels into the mat, pulling the hips up and away from the feet. I push my head into the mat, bring my back up, pull my back away from the hips, and then finally, back comes down, I tuck my chin, back of the head on the ground, getting length. Bit of a side stretch, getting into that banana shape, stretching out the side ribs and the hip. Taking 3 or 4 breaths. And then we stretch out the other side. Shifting the hips in the other direction. Getting that side stretch, but you're still on your back. You're just getting into that banana shape. And then we recenter. And we come into Shavasana. So Shavasana, I take my feet a little bit wider. Arms either side, palms up. Chin tucks, eyes closed. And you're just going to totally relax, letting the whole body sink into the ground. Maybe moisten the lips. And just make sure you're not holding tension. Sometimes we hold tension without realizing it, so just check out, especially the shoulders, the face, relax the face. Letting the whole body get heavy. The legs, the hips, the back getting heavy. The shoulders, arms, the head heavy. Totally relaxed. Breathing that through the nose if you can. Try and bring focus, try and keep focus on the breath. If you want to hold Shavasana a little bit longer, go for it. I in fact encourage you to. If you're ready to come out, you walk the feet in and you're going to roll over, eyes closed. Keeping the eyes closed, you're going to gently push yourself into a seated position. So my throat's a bit raspy again, probably the smoke, so I'm not going to do the O today. What we'll do, we'll just inhale as the arms come up. Exhale, palms together as you bring the arms down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the palms together. Bring the palms to the forehead. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.